So I had a guy come and see me for anxiety, and under hypnosis, he went back to scenes where he was embarrassed as a child. He was embarrassed by the teacher. He was embarrassed by other kids at school, and one friend in particular caused him a lot of embarrassment. So his mind equated embarrassment to pain. And one of the rules of the mind is that your mind's job is to take you away from pain and towards pleasure, but its job is to take you away from pain. So having these embarrassing situations as a child had linked so much pain to being embarrassed that anxiety came into his life to avoid any future embarrassment. So it was there to keep him safe and protect him from any pain, because as a child we feel that we can't cope with embarrassment. If I do something now as an adult and it's a bit embarrassing, I can laugh it off. I can go, oh, that was a bit embarrassing. I can admit my embarrassment. I can work through it and go, oh, that was a bit silly what I did or what I said. I can apologize. I can make amends. I can rectify my behavior. But as a child, being embarrassed or ashamed in front of friends makes you feel different. And children just want to be the same. They just want to fit in. They want to belong. So this guy had situations where he was embarrassed. And so this anxiety came into his life to protect him, to hold him back and rein him in. So rather than putting himself out there, putting himself out there in positions and situations where he could potentially be laughed at for being a bit different or having an opinion, because then he might be found out as not good enough and he'd be laughed at and embarrassed, and his mind was like, that's too much. He was hyper aware so that he wouldn't feel this pain anymore. So in social situations, he would feel this anxiety because his mind was constantly scanning for anyone that might laugh at him, anytime that this embarrassing pain could happen. So, he felt at school that he had to rush to keep up with his friends, that he had, maybe he didn't get the time that he needed to think and work and do what he needed to do in the time that was right for his mind. So therefore he didn't feel like he was as good as his friends. He didn't feel like he was good enough. And so he had this fear that people would think less of him. So rather than, know all of this stuff consciously, because as a child you don't, what his mind decided was, you need to be vigilant, you need to be anxious, I need to keep you from making mistakes. And what's the best way of keeping you from making mistakes? Taking no action. Because mistakes are actually how we learn. We learn from our failure. We learn from the mistakes. We can pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, actually, try it again a different way. Like I said earlier, we can apologize, make amends, rectify our behavior. But when you're a child, you make a mistake, you get laughed at, you feel humiliated, you feel embarrassed, your mind says, this is too painful, I can't cope with this feeling, so in future I'm going to make you so hyper aware and so anxious that this never happens again. Now, of course, that's not going to stop things like that happening, because things like that happen in life, but what it did was it made his life smaller and smaller and smaller. He wouldn't put himself out there in the workplace, he wouldn't put himself out there socially, and he felt disconnected because he felt that he was different. He's the same. We all have these types of fears. We all have these types of experiences in our life. So he now has freedom from this anxiety. He's putting himself out there. He's trying new things. He's going on adventures. He's putting his hand up for jobs at work. He doesn't always get everything right, but he knows that he can cope with a little bit of embarrassment if things go a little bit wrong. So he has freedom from the severe anxiety that was ruling his life for so long.